But once he joins it, you can just call him, right?
Am I in?
You're in.
All right.
Hey, so we
That
are
was pretty
joined
cool.
tonight by the one and only anonymous quant, the one and only anonymous quant professional who will school us on all things quant and everything we need to know. We're already recording in live. Is that right, Elliot? We're good to go. All right. Well, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. And for the purposes of this, we can go by my saint name, Abraham.
Perfect. Abraham, it is, and it is a wonderful name. And if we get really, close on here, I might even call you Abe.
Hey, that works for me.
It would be the three-letter ticker, Abe.
We're gonna make an Abe coin.
Abe coin. Exactly.
Actually, your other idea with the water, it could be an Abe coin.
Exactly. Feeding children generations to come.
Amen.
So let's start with, whatever you're comfortable with. Tell me a bit about yourself first. I would say just life before crypto, quick. What's your background?
Man, so life before crypto, my background. So I'm from Vegas. Um I basically, I don't want to do a too long of a story biography, but I was just, working my job in the healthcare field. Um just doing that for maybe a couple years. And then I well, I don't want to go into the next topic, but I was doing that for some time. No experience with trading, investing, any of the sorts. I was just doing my thing in that realm. And the next question will be, how did I get into crypto? So I don't want to get,
Right.
just save that for now, but that's a short biography about me.
Great. Yeah, and that exactly right. What's my next question is I guess when and why you got into crypto, but I guess the better way to phrase that sentence is more importantly, how did you get into crypto?
All right, cool. So I didn't want to move too quickly, but yes. So for this part, I was actually minding my own business, and my little brother had sent me a message to a video. I think it was from this YouTuber called Data Dash. He was
Data Dash.
f-
Data
fairly
Dash?
pop.
Okay.
Yeah, he was fairly popular in, well, at least when I found him in late 2017. He sent me the video. He was kind of telling me about Bitcoin. I didn't really know too much else. He was just like,
In
"Hey, there's this
2019, we
thing,
saw one of the
Bitcoin,
strongest
and
rebounds in
people
crypto
are
markets ever
putting their
witnessed
money
before
in
in
it,
history.
and like
With
it's going up." And initially, I was kind of like, I didn't, I was interested, but I didn't jump in as fast as I should have.
Right.
Um,
That was
but I
Bitcoin,
was definitely
though.
interested.
That was just Bitcoin then.
Yeah, at that time, that was the only thing that he kind of told me about. And then through watching videos from Data Dash, I started seeing, he was talking about Ethereum and Litecoin and just different coins at the time that were really starting to pop off. Um, but like I said, I was kind of just on the sidelines. I wasn't really paying too much attention. And then it was like sometime around November, December, I believe. My brother, he hits me up again, and he's like, yo, look at Bitcoin, it's starting to move. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like this thing, I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like at 10,000, and then it went to like 15,000 within like a week, and I was like, oh my god, like I need to make moves ASAP. Like this thing is running.
That
So from there, that's kind of like
was
what really,
2017.
yeah, that was around 2017.
And so how much was Bitcoin the first time you bought some?
The first time I bought some, I was actually due to crypto still being new and the lack of infrastructure. It actually took me like I want to say like 2 weeks for my Coinbase account to be approved and
Mm-hmm.
everything to go through.
All this
So
delay came.
yeah, so much delay. So I was like literally watching the market just explode, and I couldn't even do anything. Like
You're buying
it
the
was
top,
yeah. So then I eventually bought the top of the in 2017. It was like 20 something, 20K or something like that,
which is
and
nominal now. Now we're praying for 20K.
well, some are praying for 20K, some are praying for 100K.
Right, all the late boys in the club, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah,
Wow. And so then,
I
but you've seen 20K down to 3K and back to 60K. So that's
right.
amazing.
It was I mean, for someone who had no financial investment literacy at the time, like buying the top and then just watching it go down was it was it, well, I almost was gonna say it was devastating, but at the same time, while I was waiting for my Coinbase account to be approved, I was starting to learn about the technology in general, and I was pretty convinced that crypto was going to be the future. So, although buying the top was a tragic event and I was just
Well,
watching it crash, I I still
you
held.
with me?
I didn't panic sell. I didn't have paper hands. Um, I held through it. Some
Just
say
enough
that
where
might
you
be
got it.
dumb. Some say that might not be dumb, but
Right.
I did hold.
You
Um,
held that whole thing, huh?
I
Can you
did. I
hold
mean,
that back up on the chart, Elliot? You were showing as you're talking, he's pulling all this information up, showing us 2017 Bitcoin chart. It's yeah, December, and then it just went, brutal.
yeah, that I think that was the start of the bear market, the
This isn't the right
2018
one,
to
is it? This isn't it, Elliot. This is Quant. Go back to the Bitcoin one. You had it up on Coin Market Cap. Yeah, that one. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean that's incredible. And you would have had to have hold until this newest bull market to have been net positive on that.
yeah. So I eventually, um, I didn't sell back to fiat, but I did eventually just look for other projects to put that money in.
Right.
So at that time, I was, obviously still a noob and just looking at different projects from influencers talking about get this and look at that. And so I was kind of just, seeing what I could do, diversifying here and there and
Right.
just getting into different things. Um, it was still, it was still kind of rough just because there's, there were so many projects at the time. And I think one of the bigger things that kind of harmed me, so to speak, was not knowing about market caps. So, market capitalization, which is basically the total value of a company or project, whether that be crypto or traditional investing. So, I didn't realize like buying, I mean, at least for me, what I know now was trying to buy small cap projects in order
Good one,
to
Kenny.
ride the wave up, so to speak. That's kind of the fastest way to generate wealth in crypto, although it's not really the safest way because there's a lot of scams out there. So it's kind of risky. But I mean, at the time, I was just putting money into anything that looked good.
Hmm.
Some of it
What were some of
wasn't
those?
good.
What were some of those? Like when you. So that goes to our next question, right? When and where? And then my next question, I guess, is, have you ever been scammed or wrecked or rug pulled or been, in?
Yes. So Fortunately, well, actually, there was one time that was like a really it stung a little bit.
Go to the
And
webcam.
that project was called Titanium T Bar.
Oh,
So
titanium. I should look up that
a lot of
T-bar.
the OGs probably will remember that name. It actually looked like a very solid project. Like the idea was dope. Um, it
Yeah, it's
just
not on
everything.
Coin Market Cap, so it's dead.
Yeah, it's totally dead. Like it's absolutely obliterated.
Yeah.
It looked like a really dope project. It had like all the right wording and partners, and it had all the glitz and all that stuff. And the CEO, he appeared to be pretty legit and straightforward and whatnot. I remember um, they actually started to do like a YouTube channel, and then they would do like weekly updates, and everyone was like, "Yeah, man, that's cool. This is how it should be." Um, but it all turned out to be all bad. Well, actually, it may or may have not been totally a scam, but I could say that the CEO was doing some shady things as
Yeah,
far as.
Michael Allen
Yep,
Soltali
yep, that's
lied
him.
about business relationships with the Federal Reserve and dozens of well-known firms for purposes for promoting initial coin offerings. Go to the
That's
webcam right here.
him.
Titanium's
That
website contained fabricated testimonials from the supposed corporate customers. These fraudulent statements were used to promote the ICO, which Solitaire advertised through their videos and social media. Yeah, so just didn't work out for them, I guess, huh?
Yeah, so I mean, all that stuff looked great, and like, I mean, if it wasn't all fabricated, I still think that project would have
Right,
did
there's good ideas and things.
right.
Someone's greedy though, I guess, huh?
Yeah, and I think that I'm not 100% sure, but I believe the technology was actually there, but due to all the fraud, everything just got wiped out. People just started dumping immediately. So that didn't end well. I can't remember how much money I had spent on it. I think I put in like maybe I want to say maybe 4 or 5 thousand
Their
at the time.
their Twitter is still active.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
No post since 2017 or something. What is it? 18. Last post was 2018. Yeah. So, wow. So that was the first, so on top of stinking, this is actually great. This is like an underdog story now because you get wrecked at the buying the top of BTC. You get wrecked putting into stuff that is good ideas, good concepts, but basically scumbags running them.
Yes.
Which leads us to the next story. I mean, are there any other underdog stories you had to triumph through during all this? What I know about,
Uh.
can I talk about what I know about you, just anonymous? You drive a modest car,
Yep.
you're a modest man, you're a kind man. Um, and so apparently you're a somewhat of a whale in a crypto. Not, is it a whale? Would you be a whale in a crypto? Or just an
Yep.
early adopter, an early adopter, but it's a crypto that doesn't have a huge market supply. The market supply is really low, right?
Yes.
So I guess,
So yeah.
yeah. Next question. Tell me about this crypto.
So after dabbling into different projects, trying to make it come up, um, I was actually in a Facebook group, and through the Facebook group, there was like the group was just about learning about cryptos, and it was like a kind of like a investor pooling group. So what what they would do, they probably still do it, but these different, like, somebody would run the group, and you know everyone pools their funds together, and there's different kind of protocols in crypto that allowed people to put their funds in like a non, well, it was controlled by the leader person, but all the funds would go in there, and then that person would use those funds to invest on behalf of the group to different projects via their ICOs, their initial coin offerings, and that protocol would automatically disperse the receiving tokens to everyone according to the amount they invested. So there were a bunch of groups like that, and I had found one on Facebook. And so I had joined the group. It was in Discord. That was the first time I downloaded Discord. Shout
Okay.
out to Discord.
Right.
So I'm in the group, and we're just chatting up and discussing different potential projects. And one of the projects on the list was Quant. I think the other project was LCX. I believe. I think the ticker is called Icon or something. It was that Quant and something else. So I was researching all the three to figure out where should I put my money, and that's when I first found out about Quant Network, which is my baby. I'm a quant maximalist for sure. So I'm reading the Quant website. I read the white paper, and that's a definite must for anyone out there who's trying to get into crypto. Ask for the white paper and read it top to bottom, so you know exactly what the company project you're dealing with is all about. So I've read thousands of white papers because I mean that's what it's about. If you want to invest, you need to look at the fundamentals of a project to really gauge where you're going to put your money. So anyways, I read the white paper for Quant, and I was literally just absolutely mind blown because at that time and even now, I have never ever seen a project that had this kind of technology. So that pretty much leads us to our next topic,
Right.
which is what is quant.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Everyone
quant,
wants to know what is quant because I think when I hear of quant is interoperability. That's what a lot of people talk about. So we'll talk about what that word means because I feel like it's used loosely by other people now, and maybe now quant seemingly now is actually for crypto. It's an older concept, older progress. I mean, older you know group of people. So that's what I know about it. Like face value.
so yeah, quant is um it solves the problem of interoperability. So what's interoperability? Interoperability is the ability to connect with different systems. So, for example, the example I like to tell people is imagine you're in your city and there's, 4, 5 different hospitals, right? Each of these hospitals use their own hospital network. So when you get admitted to a hospital, they put you in their computers, and your information, along with everyone else's information in the hospital, is in that hospital's network. Same thing for each other hospital. They all have individual networks. So interoperability makes it so that each and every hospital's network can talk to one another securely and seamlessly. So this is something that literally doesn't, or I should say, did not exist until Quant Network came onto the scene. So Quant's technology is called Overledger, and what that does, or what it is it's an operating system. So it's like you could think of it as like the Microsoft Windows for crypto. So Quant doesn't have a blockchain in itself. So most, well, really all cryptos they have their own blockchain. So Bitcoin has the Bitcoin blockchain, Ethereum has the Ethereum blockchain, Litecoin has the Litecoin blockchain. So that's like, I guess you could say, the physical, or I should say the metaphysical, like railroad tracks, I guess you could say, of each individual chain project.
Right.
But Quant Network, it doesn't have one. It's just an operating system. So it's hard to explain because blockchain is all technology based. It's computer software, but I guess you could say Quant Network is like even deeper of a software. I don't know how you would really explain it, but it's just an operating system.
Right.
So it doesn't have its own blockchain. So, but what it does is it sits on top of any other blockchain in any other network. That's why it's called over ledger,
Oh,
so
and it's
because
like
it sits
quantum
over.
computing. It's almost built for quantum computing, like because it can read all networks, it can secure all networks if it's secured first by Quant. I mean,
Yes, you could kind of think of it like that too, and that's part of its uniqueness. So back to the hospital example with Quant Network involved, the software Overledger, it would sit on top of all the hospital networks. So then that will enable each network below the Overledger to connect with one another. So in our hospital example, if I was a patient at one hospital, um, the doctors could connect their computer networks together to transfer information. Like, let's say I need to discharge from one hospital to go to another one. What would have to happen? They would have to print out my papers. They would need to either give me the papers and it can get lost, or they would fax over the papers to the other hospital, something like that.
hmm.
And then I would take those documents to the other hospital, and then I would be admitted. Well, with Quant, what they would do is they would just simply, log into the network and securely transfer all my information to the other hospital without breaching any privacy laws or anything like that. So that in itself, it opens up so much, honestly, revenue for companies because paper costs money, and whatever else comes with the nature of exchanging patients to different hospitals,
Oh my
it
gosh, yeah,
saves.
that's one thing that I'm really stoked about with the blockchain in general is how people don't realize, every single bit of the economy and resources and energy goes into paper, coinage, monies. It's incredible, and it's inevitable that we just try to save those resources and allocate them. I'm not trying to say that, getting rid of paper money altogether is a good idea, although that sounds inevitable eventually. Meanwhile, the idea that they're going to try to say Bitcoin and mining crypto and everything crypto is somehow damaging the environment when in comparison to our current systems on most things, it's nominal.
Absolutely. Like, just like, not even talking Quant, but just blockchains in general. Like, there's so many things that they, I don't know if the word is alleviate or just reduce the effort, maybe, for different corporations. Like, there's so many things that humans do in a corporation that can be done by the blockchain autonomously, and those things save corporations billions of dollars. Like, they they have, like, it's in their best interest to go digital. Like, there's just think of all the paperwork and just paper type of workflows that can be updated just by going digital on the blockchain, and it's more secure. So this is definitely the future, and that's part of why in the beginning, even though I lost money on Bitcoin, I was like still searching for that next thing because I knew, like, we have to go digital. Like, we just have to, because there's just too many benefits to ignore.
Right. Let's talk more about quant because we can go really deep with this, and we're gonna have some more, you know, other side of the composium stuff to look at with as far as what's best for corporations, what's best for crypto. But definitely corporations, if they're not already hip to it, they're going to be some of the biggest payers for us later on because we're going to be much more ahead of the curve of this horizon, actually, we should say, before
Yeah.
them, you know? So that's definitely something. And then how we allocate their wealth for our future later is most important. So, and that's, you know, this biggest transformation of wealth in human history. You're a personal testimony of that, a hardworking man who is a risk taker in his investments, yet educated, well researched, and well versed. You went with something that you saw promise in, and you let's talk about that market supply now. Can we pull that up, Elliot, real quick back on Quant chart? What is it? How many coins can you buy in all time as far as Quant's concerned? It's like an obscure number I can't seem to remember.
It's so Quant has 14 million tokens total. So in crypto, well, really in I guess investment scheme or stock market, the companies have
Hold it back on
shares.
that. Just leave it there. No, no, where you were. We're listening. Go ahead. Sorry.
Companies have shares, and the amount of shares, uh, it's kind of in relation to the overall value and price of the share. I keep forgetting the math behind it, but basically you have your total number of shares and you multiply by the total value of the company, and that's the price of your individual share. Let me see.
Yeah, yeah. No, exactly. You take the total market value and you divide it by the max supply, and that's generally the price of your token of your coin.
Right. So
And that's why the value of Quant to the onlooker who's looking, you know, it's competing with Shiba Inu in the noobs marketplace. So we're here to warn those guys that, you know, $194 for a token that only has a market cap that's under 15 million actually seems like a great deal when you think Bitcoin itself has about, what is it, 19 million in circulating supply. Maybe 5 million of that is locked away, never to be touched, and another 3 to 5 million will be released throughout its next 100 years. So
yeah.
we have, you know, this Quant's already fully released, right? It's all available.
Yeah, there no more tokens will be put out to the market. There's no inflation. It's a deflationary revenue model. So there's no, I guess you could say, team dumping, so to speak. So basically, in other cryptos, you got to be wary because, for example, uh, XRP. XRP has like a total of,
Pull that up.
I don't know, 200 billion tokens, 200 billion shares of XRP, and like
Who owns
I
it?
think
Like
I
BlackRock
don't,
and these guys?
yeah, those are the different companies that hold it, but I don't I don't even think all of XRP's tokens are released to the market. I think they still have like another 100 billion
Webcam.
in their reserve. So basically, what it means is the company still has so many more tokens, and you're buying them, and it's not really a bad thing if the company, can manage it and there's a purpose for it, but it just
Webcam.
there's going to be a possibility for dilution. So if you're adding more tokens to the market, the price is going to be diluted, so you'll be
Right.
basically washing it down, so to speak.
Right.
But with Quant, all the tokens that are ever made and will ever be made are already on the market, so there's no risk in that
That's good.
light.
I'm blown away. Yeah, it's like a aha moment because I mean, it's obviously a lot of people are holding and they're not willing to let it go. So is that working against us? Is that working with us? What's your, you know, you're more versed on the quant community. What are their, you know, most of those guys like who are and the people who are big bag holders of quant?
So as far as the Quant community goes, we are all under the understanding that nobody's gonna sell until, I mean, at minimum 1K each, maybe like 5% of their portfolios, and then everybody's gonna be waiting for that 10K mark. Like that's pretty much the entire community's mindset about Quant, because we know
At five
these.
percent sell off at $100 it's worth everyone's investment and your future.
Yeah,
Basically,
so
that's a fair amount. Yeah, that's how this stuff's supposed to work. You're supposed to make money with it. That's okay.
yeah, yeah, everyone, like, it's kind of a meme, strong hands, diamond hands, you know what I'm saying? But with the Quant community, like, it's real diamond hands. Like, the only reason, we're not at like 1,000 right now is probably because,
It's
I
attached to
mean, you have,
Bitcoin like everything else.
well, I mean, you have like your short term traders, and like, every project has its manipulations or whatnot. But I
Right,
mean,
and
for
well,
the,
my instinct too with that. Sorry to interrupt, and just tell me if I'm right or wrong. If something is interoperable, that means it's directly connect almost as close as two systems could be with one another. So if you used Ethereum and converted it to buy Quant, and you use Bitcoin and converted it to buy Quant, and you use whatever you use that is a viable option to get Quant, somehow you have now attached its value to those other cryptos. And so part of this Crypto Wars podcast is exposing and leading the full community and a vision together where, these guys that drop Bitcoin, they do affect everyone else. It sucks. It really sucks because, so much of that whale power with a overlord with endless Bitcoin and Ethereum, when our projects are young and babies, they can go ahead and embed themselves. Or if they don't have any of it, they can literally, do a self-inflicting wound, like a total false flag on their own price, to try to scare off other people in other markets where things they know, hey, we can see that, there's a lot of ETH that was attached with XRP. And or who knows the scenario. This is in somewhat of a hypothesis. Some people say it's true that they are kind of somewhat attached together because of that.
yeah, so kind of to add more to it, it's
But when
it's a
things
no.
pump, it seems like Quant pumps when other things are dumping.
Yeah, that too. That's probably our, secret manipulator too. But to add to what you were saying earlier, it's a known trading technique, actually, to shake out investors. I think what they call it is whale hunting or something.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what happens is you have your, super anonymous big giant whales who have millions and millions and millions of dollars. And remember, guys, millions of dollars that's it sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot, because there's a lot of money in the world, and
Mm-hmm.
it's in a small market like crypto, it's not hard to manipulate. So what they do is they basically, you know sell, dump their shares or crypto on the market. And what that does is it triggers people's orders. So on a quick rundown, on an exchange, let's say you set a buy order or sell order. So let's say, for example, Bitcoin is at $20,000, and you make a sell order at $18,000 to basically, it's called a stop loss. So okay, so you Bitcoin's at $20,000. You put your stop loss order for $18,000. So what that does is it tells the trading engine if Bitcoin drops below 18,000 to automatically sell. That way you don't risk losing any more money. So what big whales do, they will dump the price so drastically, in order to trigger everyone's stop loss. And when they trigger it, it's like a cascade effect. So they trigger these stop losses at 18,000 to activate. Then those stop losses automatically liquidate, and then it just drives every stop loss to liquidate. And then when the price is super low, they basically take all that money that they have and buy lower. So I think I can't remember the word, like stop loss hunting or something, but
Right,
it's
right.
it's it's one of their tactics. They have a lot. I'm not too familiar with trading because I just do value investing, fundamental investing, but I know that that is one of their.
Yeah, let's talk
Uh,
about the value vesting approach. Um, you said you bought your first quant really low.
yeah, I was pretty much the first one of the first people to buy Quant.
Oh, and so it started out at under a penny like most things, or what did
Uh,
pull up the full-time chart, Elliot? The all-time chart. Oh, it came out at 58 cents, really, because it's so low market cap. So some people
it
got some IPO. Who were the IPOs?
the people who
Do we
got
know
in
some?
early, the ICO price was
Oh yeah,
about $1, and
initial coin offering. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the initial coin offering was about $1, and then uh
That's awesome.
shortly after, and this is kind of another side story. So shortly after, this was kind of like Quant was born in the beginning of the bear market. So after Bitcoin first went to 20,000 and crashed all the way down,
And you had
Bit
literally just gotten wrecked.
yeah, it was pretty close after. So Quant came out sometime around there, and there was uh I remember not too long after. I think it was in, I want to say sometime in mid 2018 or so. At the time, I was already just discouraged from just losing from titanium, and I had opened up my crypto app to check the prices, and I remember seeing Quant at 20 cents. That was, I think, the lowest it was ever.
Well, not
And
yeah, and not even on I'm on CoinGecko. The lowest. Oh yeah, they did show 23 cents in August 14th, 2018.
okay, that's when it was. So I had looked, and at the time, I mean, I had the conviction that Quant was a great project, but I wasn't.
You've even felt wrecked on your own quant investment for a quick second there.
Yeah, I was just too just discouraged and out of it, and I just turned off the app and just left it alone and just
Wow.
minding my own business. But at the time, what I should have done was literally buy everything in sight. Oh my god, I was so like that day.
You were like,
It,
am I just getting wrecked again? Is this just another
right. So I just let it go. But honestly, that was like the chance of a lifetime. Like,
Yeah.
so the story behind that, there was actually um some person. I think his name was. They always talk about him in the chat. Oh, Bosch.
Okay.
I think, I don't know, some.
The
I'm
quant
not gonna get
Bosch.
too many details, but the person's name was Bosch. They had like 300,000 quants,
Mm.
and I don't know what happened. I think he was mad about something, and he like
Sold.
revenge dumped his whole stack. So like he dumped 300,000 quant tokens, and then it dropped the price to like that 23 cents that you see.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he bought some other thing that ended up being like a scam, which is
Uh,
ironic. So that's how that price got to 23 cents. But man, it's I try not to think about it too much. But yeah, I witnessed it, and that it hurts. So,
and my
but
question is,
yeah,
have you ever sold any quant?
so I actually did sell just a little bit of Quant in order to reinvest in a few other projects,
Yeah.
but I have not sold any Quant in order for the purpose of just,
Getting fiat and doing anything with it, right?
yeah, I have not done that.
That's incredible. But you would say majority, you pretty much that even that's nominal to your
Ye-
portfolio. Your portfolio's predominantly bullish on quant.
Pretty much. I'm like, let me actually check what the math is, because on the app you can change it from percentages. So let me see. So my quant is 92.34% of my portfolio.
Yeah, this brings up my next question. What other projects interest you?
So
So
there's
97% you said is quant?
92%.
92%. Okay. Yeah,
And
you
then,
you told me as soon as that's available for staking, you're ready. I mean, there's a safe staking platform.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm 92% quant. Like, when I say I'm all in, I am all
Yeah,
in.
no joke. No jokes. Quant's the real deal.
So, the other two projects, and even when I had quant, I kind of dabbled in a few things, just a little bit, like a couple $100 just to see, but I never really like went in on any other project, because honestly, like when you see quant in the scope of what it does, and when you like truly get down and understand like the partnerships, the technology, the just everything needed to know
Changes.
about quant. And side note, you can go to quantpedia.org.
Go to that. We
um,
have it pulled
people
up already. It's already pulled up, Elliot. It's on one of the tabs. Yeah.
Yeah, the community, shout out to the community. The Telegram channel, I think it's called the Council. Um, man, super smart guys. They're part of that. They're like one of the they are the main reason that I really started to go heavy on quant, because those guys, they discover and unlock just all the quant secrets. Like literally, the partnerships that were announced like this year, those guys discovered them like way back in 2019. Like they already had the leads. They had, they find one piece of information and they discover just all kind of connections, and that was a huge factor of just
Right.
going all in, because I was at that point. Oh yeah, I knew it.
Right.
Um, so as far as the other projects go, the ones that
Ready to look these up.
I have conviction to tell people to go in on too, apart from quant. Like if you really feel quant is just, although it's still early for quant is still,
Yeah. That's it.
quant is only at a 2 billion market cap. Like something like Doge is at 30 billion. So Doge is like 30 billion times more expensive than quant at this point. But
That's
if
actually
that's
incredibly that's the best analogy I think you can make for the new person that I'd summarize. Doge has huge market cap. They can inflate the coins, they can make more of them. There's a lot of coins. Quant has a limited supply, it's a small amount, and it's only a fraction of what's even in Doge's total market. And most of
yeah,
these are actually long-term holders of this coin who are really looking to do more with it in the crypto space rather than ever cashing it out to fiat. Um,
yes,
but yeah, tell me real quick. I want to get into that, the problems with fiat, and have you before the end of the show walk us through a quick, synopsis of what is real money. If we can, real quick, pull up a link to have it prepped for when we do talk about that. What would be, I obviously have the PDF file, but if I just Google, it's a kind of a conspiracy still, right? If I Google in a search real money, I can word it a few different ways. Real money tax law, real money. It's pretty much blotted out of the general consensus of the public. We'll get
oh
into
yeah,
that.
we'll get into that too.
I want to do talk about though. What are your other two? You said you have two other coins you hold.
So the two other ones that I hold are Alliance Block and Unizen. And actually, the main reason I even hold these other coins is because the CEO of Quant is actually very connected with these other two projects. So that was already like a green light for me. Like anything that Quant is connected to, then I would 9 times out of 10 say go ahead and go all in because they're gonna like Quant doesn't touch trash. Like Quant is known that, and that's another reason why Quant took a long time to really get notoriety is because in crypto, people's minds are stuck in this everything decentralized. We're gonna overthrow the government. We're going to, just whatever they want to call it along that thread of thinking,
They might
which
bankrupt
is
the government.
right, which is, I mean, not a bad thought because I am pretty much anti government too. So, I mean, I can feel them on that sentiment. However, it's just never going to be a reality. So, what Quant does is it works with government, it works with enterprise, they work with regulation, and that was a huge turnoff. It still is a huge turnoff for a lot of people, and that's again part of why Quant, stayed underground for a long time is good because when people saw that about Quant, they
Well,
ran for the
what other
hills.
choice do people have if they want to make a lot of money? That's my question. You want to play the game, you want to, be useful, and you want to not get murdered. You have to pay taxes. And so eventually, and I think that's why this cryptoverse it's so important to educate people. That's what we're doing tonight. I hope everyone learns something. This is not financial advice, by the way, but that should be obvious. This is educational and informational community sharing, learning. But I will say that that's the beauty of this ecosystem. It's going to replicate what our real world looks like. In the real currency, the real world, there's tens of thousands of currencies, and different countries and different places use them for various reasons. Even in
Mm,
sub countries, multiple currencies are used. So people are already accustomed in some cultures to using 5 to 6 different currencies. Now, up until the euro recently, people were actually more accustomed to doing that. And when you would be traveling, you would carry a wallet that would normally have multiple countries' currencies. And that was a way to be kind of a coin collector too as you travel throughout. In the
mm-hmm.
digital space, we have that similar kind of metaverse version where throughout the years, you go back and your different wallets have various coins left over from various things. But yeah, I guess where I was going with all of that, um, I forget. We can edit this part if I'm being a silly. Yeah.
um, no, yeah, um,
Oh, yeah. So it replicates. That's why there's going to be a marketplace for something like Quant that is KYC and it is, essentially a solid investment. That someone who has millions of dollars and they do their accounting on the books legally, they need something they can legally put this money into. So there's going to be a place for this ecosystem, and that's why these things are attached to each other. And as further future developments are built on the blockchain, it will bridge things together even better. So you're buying something like this that can already bridge things. That's going to be of value in the future more than now, and it's already $200 a coin. And they're not making any more of them, so it's the supply demand figured out right off the bat.
yeah. That's a really good analogy, and there was actually a thread on Twitter. But if you were to just look in the Telegram, the official community Telegram, you would see the CEO, talk about some of these things. And I mean, as far as I can tell, the guy is just a genius, and what he says rings true, which is governments and enterprise, they're not going to ever fully decentralize
Something else.
because they need someone to be accountable if something were to go wrong. Like in if somebody's tech stack just malfunctions, like it can't just be 100% decentralized and then there's no one to call. Like literally with Ethereum, if something goes wrong, there's no one to call. That's why if you lose your private keys or you send your money to the wrong address, like it's just gone, it's disappeared. Like that can't work with corporations and government. Somebody needs to be able to troubleshoot the system, recover someone's funds, do something in order to make sure everything is working as it's supposed to. So they can never fully decentralize. It is not in their best interest. Someone needs to be able to be accountable and troubleshoot. So Quant and the CEO Gilbert Verdian, he knows this and he's worked with governments and banks and central banks and all kinds
This is
of
the CEO
elite
of Quantpedia.
entities. So
Go back to Quant's website. Yeah.
he knows. So I mean that's why he designed everything the way he did. So for me, even though I despise the government and all the things that they do, I know that the government is bigger than all the people and I'm going to make my money multiply with the government and I can still do good things with the profits, but putting my money.
So, are any of the Quant guys? What other currencies would they be related to? Like, were any of them have like cool stories? They're attached to earlier crypto projects. Or is it just its own thing that became a crypto thing?
Rephrase that.
Right. Like, is Quant beginnings and how it, became something? It's a publicly traded company, I assume, or something of the sort, right? Or is it? How does that work
For the company or the token?
for the company? I guess Quant. It's different
So
than the token.
yeah, the company Quant is a private company. The tokens are, public to trading, but as far as the company themselves, they are a private company.
Okay. And they build software technology with interoperability in the financial world. So
Yes.
Oracle, okay, I know Oracle, yeah. And so, and it's recently put on Coinbase. Do you think that has a lot to do with its pump? It pumped before and after the Coinbase listing. So,
Yeah, we had well, yeah, we did pump a little bit before the Coinbase listing. That was probably insiders, who knows? But
well, yeah,
we,
yeah, people find out, they buy the news,
yeah,
and that's fine too. But a lot of times, traditionally, after something, even in a bull market, goes on Coinbase, it dumps pretty hard after. But that's not the case for Quant.
yes, that's the resiliency of the community because people got to realize the price is not some arbitrary number. Like people are buying and selling. So more people are buying than they are selling. And that's why Quant has not dumped like every other coin in the last dump was like what, 2 months ago when Bitcoin was at like 65,000 and it went all the way back down to like 30. Like 90% of the market dumped over 50, 60, some 80%, and they have not recovered. Quant is one of the few that dumped maybe 10% and set out to make new all-time highs just yesterday actually.
It's got some big players. We are watching the meet our leadership team. You mentioned Gilbert,
Yes.
CEO, but it's funny too. I mean, it seems like what are your thoughts? Let's move into this next part of the topic. Real money, right? What is real money? What kind of chart or picture can we pull up to show? Let's just pull up old bills. Let's pull up on Google Images bills that are silver certificate, and then I'll let you talk about it more. Real money and kind of the con that's been played on the general populace as far as our wealth, money, income is concerned, taxes. Obviously, I am not promoting anyone not pay their taxes. In fact, I think just the opposite. I think it's a pay to play. But this raises some very interesting points that I think the public is should know. It should be taught in schools and a very well-known concept. I collect money myself. I am familiar with this, but you brought up some really good points. This might not be what those involved with the Rockefeller Corporation or whoever, different people want to hear necessarily, but this is kind of the truth. So,
Yeah, so I kind of more recently found out about this. I heard about it in the past, but I never really followed up on it until recently. So, um, money, as we know today, is
go back. That was good.
it's it's um it's a credit based system,
Right.
and the reason for that is basically everyone's heard. Back in the day, we used to use gold, and then you know gold started. The country started going into debt, and then gold was no longer viable, so we went into a credit credit based system through the Federal Reserve.
Right.
And what people may not realize is the Federal Reserve is actually a private company. It has nothing to do with America as far as the country is concerned. It
Yeah,
has nothing to.
technically it's like a crypto before crypto. It's like it's just this private company that makes money and we all buy it.
That's really essentially what we're talking about. That's what it is. It's the Federal Reserve is literally a private company doing what it does. It has no relation to the state, or the country of America.
Yeah, the M1 monetary supply used to be posted daily, I think. Now they say they'll post it every quarter. And that chart used to, they just, that whole website, they just took it down. So now they got Federal Reserve Bank districts. It's funny that Arizona, California, Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and Alaska, and Hawaii are all in District 12.
Interesting.
We're looking at some cool information as our chat goes on. So tell me more about the implications of this. Elliot, pull up that vintage money again. I want to show people what we're talking about. Click that PMG certificate right there. See how, yeah, like that one. Yeah, that works. So see if you see the blue dollar, and on the left, this certificate is receivable for all payable debts when so received. May it be issued. Pretty much the same thing throughout history. They removed that. Go to a modern seal. Okay, go to a modern dollar. Anything post, I think it's 64, bare minimum. Probably started happening earlier. That's works. So on the left, click that or make it bigger. Might not let us because it doesn't want us to counterfeit it. It's like no. See on the left, yeah, there you go. See the United States Federal Reserve stamp in place of what used to be the monetary exchange silver. So that's what we're talking about. And
Yeah, so that actually brings to the next part is the current dollars that you see today have two seals on them, and this is part of what was hidden in plain sight. So on the left side of your dollar or bill or whatever, you'll see the seal of the Federal Reserve Bank. Um, there's like a B in the
yep,
middle of the seal. So that denotes the Federal Reserve, credit based system that we are currently living in. And underneath the seal, you can see the signature for the Federal Reserve. Um,
chairman at that time, Treasury chairman.
yeah. So if you go to the other side of the bill, you will see another seal, which is the Department
No, go
of
back. Go back.
Treasury.
Yeah. Department of Treasury. Yep.
And you'll see its signature on the bottom for the Department of Treasury. So, what we have here is one paper dollar with two seals, meaning there are two sides of,
The
I guess
same
you could,
coin.
two sides of the same. It's not really the same, but I guess you would put the two choices that every person has is looking at them on their dollar. So the first choice is the left-sided seal, which is the Federal Reserve note. And by using the Federal Reserve note, you incur the Federal Reserve taxes. And that's why everyone pays
Pays
their
a
tax,
federal
man.
direct tax to the Federal Reserve.
Yep, every year you fill out your 1040 and you tell IRS, which is a, again, private company, about your usage of the private Federal Reserve credit based bills. And then the other choice is the Department of Treasury. And let's see, according to the law, let's see if I could find it.
The Department of Treasury's law,
Yes,
all
according,
money is not subject to a direct tax.
that's correct. I'm trying to find the actual um
So technically, depending on how you spend your money, claim your money, use your money, you are or are not being taxed legally. So if you claim your money on the Federal Reserve signature, you better be paying every dollar to them because that's the law you signed up for. Whereas if you claim your money as real money and apparently use your money with some certain allocations, probably reinvesting, probably some similar other asset uh, ways. I don't know what the implications are. Can you move it into gold? How this works? But I believe that yes, you will have a better tax implication when you actually say move $500,000 into gold or something. You aren't required the same tax implication when you do it as a I am receiving my monetary value versus I'm buying gold.
yes.
Could be
So
one application.
part of, so essentially what we have here is um legal, I think it's called legal tender and lawful money. So legal tender is the dollar. If you look at the dollar, the Federal Reserve note, it can be used as legal tender, which is it could be used to pay for things. So if you just drew on a piece of paper, it's not legal tender. It's not able to pay for services. So as a credit based system, it can be used as legal tender.
Isn't
Now
it
the other,
funny how it sounds like Tinder, like you'll use for your fireplace?
oh wow, that actually does sound funny. Yeah,
Tinder, I know it's spelled different. It's Tender. We got it pulled up right now. This note is legal Tinder for all debts, public and private. But we can't just draw a piece of paper like Dumb and Dumber, IOU, kind of. Yeah, we can't do that. That's not legal Tinder, right? That's
right. So now lawful money, you could pull it up. Lawful money is any form of currency issued by the United States Treasury and not the Federal Reserve System. It includes gold and silver coins, treasury notes, and treasury bonds. Lawful money stands in contrast to fiat money, in which the government assigns value, although it has no intrinsic value of its own and is not backed by reserves. Fiat money includes legal tender such as paper money, checks, drafts, and banknotes. So, lawful money and legal tender. So, on your dollars bills, you have the legal tender side, which is the Federal Reserve note, and you have the lawful money side, which is the Department of
Mhm.
Treasury. So the thing here, the secret sauce that everyone's been waiting for and wondering why are we talking about this, is because any money that you receive according to the law, which is U.S. Code. Let me pull it up. It's called Title 12 U.S. Code 411.
Right,
So
for
when
all
you,
transactions per 12 USC coins 411. Wait, go back to that, Elliot. Move that title back. Yeah, there it is. Demand for lawful money. When demand for lawful money, yeah.
so according to Title 12 U.S. Code 411, anytime that you receive a check, pay stub, uh, anytime you're receiving money, what you want to do, especially on checks, you have to write redeem in lawful money per US code or per 12 US code 411. What that does is it gives you proof that you are not endorsing the Federal Reserve note, and what you are claiming is the Department of Treasury on the bill, because every bill has two sides. So essentially, what that does is it does not, you are not tax liable because the Department of Treasury, the actual currency of the United States, has no tax implications. You can't be taxed on it. There's just no taxes for it because it's the actual currency of the country. But with the Federal Reserve, that's a private system, so they're loaning it out
Yep,
to
first one.
you, and you're paying taxes on that. You're paying it back in the taxes to use that system. So all the checks you receive, when you sign it on the back, you put redeeming lawful money 12 USC 411. So then at the end of the year, when you're filing your taxes, what you do is, and this is more so for people who are having their money withheld from like their job. So anytime you like all your pay
Go back to
stubs, you
that
want
for
to,
me.
huh?
Sorry, I'm listening. I was
Oh,
just reading lawful money on Federal Reserve's website. It's very interesting.
yeah. So pay stubs and all that stuff. You keep this as evidence. So when you're doing your taxes, you would put the total. Like say for example, you made 55,000 in income for the year. um, what you would do is on the bottom of the form, the 1040 form, I think it's line 21 or something, it asks you for any other income. So what you would do is you would put in that space available, you would put redeemed in lawful money 12 USC 411, and then you would put the same income that you made for the year in brackets, and that indicates a negative number. So that tells the IRS that all the money that you received throughout the year, you received it in lawful money. Therefore, you owe them no taxes because you did not use their private Federal Reserve notes for the entire year. So, also, what that means is any money that your job withheld
You
from
read that
you
back.
to pay taxes, you would get a refund in the mail by the Department of Treasury for any amount that was withheld from you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm reading Board of Governors on the Federal Reserve System, and they give like their version of history basically from 1913. There was an incident, 1933. Then it goes through these, it names these court cases Milan versus US, um, Juilliard versus Greenman, different scenarios where people sued or brought the court somehow went higher because they were trying to demand for gold and silver. Yeah, he basically demanded, I want gold. He had $50 in Federal Reserve notes, and they refused the notes, and asserting that lawful money must be gold or silver, and they denied him. And it said his court case was ejected as frivolous, and they affirmed the judgment, which means they said, "F you, guy. We're doing a rape on the systems." But what you're implicating is that by simply making sure our bills are noted, taxed separately, this is our amount of fiat that's lawful money, this is our amount of fiat that's Federal Reserve note money, or whatever we do. If we implicate a difference between the two, especially if that money is an investment of like a gold or silver liking, maybe, how this applies to, you know,
So
no, not tax
basically,
advice, but it's really opening the eye for the legalese rabbit hole, as far as banking, and they try to bank us, but it's like a lingo.
yeah. So basically, the Federal Reserve is a private currency, and the Department of Treasury is the lawful currency. And using lawful currency according to the Constitution does not incur a tax liability. So, for all practical intents, so for crypto, since we're talking about crypto, so basically, when you okay, crypto
Yeah.
investing capital gains tax, right? The capital gains rate is like 30% for short term, 20% for or 30% for short term, 20% for long term, whatever. So typically people will sell their crypto and then they get hit with the 30% bill. So let's say you made 100K, government's going to come and swipe up 30K, right? But if you make your trade, you make your 100K, and when you're um, depositing it in your account, or well, it's going to be electronic because we're dealing with crypto. So, um, what you want to do is establish your evidence that you know of lawful money, because you can't just
Say
say it
that
without
that was your
establishing.
intention back in the day. You got to put the paper trail behind everything.
Right, exactly. So, one thing you would do is like
Get a stamp or
everyone's,
something, like a stamp you.
yeah, you can use a stamp for checks. But another thing you could do, since we're talking about digital and direct deposits, you can everyone's bank account. There's a nickname for your account, so everyone should change their bank nickname to Lawful Money 12 USC 411. That puts the burden away. It takes the burden off of you because it shows that you know what lawful money is and you're redeeming it.
Mm.
So, anyways, when you get your money from your trading, you're claiming it in lawful money, which incurs no taxes. So there's not going to be any
And this is
37,
ultimately how Amazon, maybe these big corporations, are actually getting away with most of their no tax by
pretty
actually
much,
following the law.
pretty
And these
much.
big corporations do it with ease by just following the Constitution because they're hip to it.
Yep. So yeah, you redeem in lawful money, and then when IRS comes around, you have your evidence, and you send your 1040 with your evidence showing that you know what lawful money is, and it is their obligation to acknowledge that, and you just saved yourself a tax bill.
J.P. Morgan said, testifying to Congress in 1912, "Gold is money, everything else is credit." J.P. Morgan, 1913.
So the other projects that I am interested in is mainly because the CEO of Quant Network is directly involved with these other projects. So um, one of them is called Alliance Block, and
Oh, yeah, we had that pulled up, that chart, 93 cents right now, looks like, right?
yeah, they just started going on their parabolic run. Um, so Alliance Block is basically building the world's first globally compliant decentralized capital market. So what that means is right now we have our current traditional systems. So we have banking, wealth managers, asset managers, stock exchange. All of these systems and infrastructures are in their own section, And on the flip side, we have what crypto is doing, which is called DeFi, which is decentralized finance. And then you have your stable coins, your decentralized exchanges, and things of that nature. So, what Alliance Block is doing is connecting these two worlds
Go down the
to
nose.
coexist with one another.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Chainlink's a big player with Alliance Block. So Chainlink and Quant probably link up well. And some of the other familiarities like Unizen, I'm seeing, you know, Frontier. So Hollow, London Stock Exchange is trading Alliance Block.
Yeah, so Alliance Block has signed a partnership with London Stock Exchange to open up Alliance Block's technology to the London Stock Exchange infrastructure. So in the future, we're going to be seeing the London Stock Exchange, like basically anyone who uses London Stock Exchange will connect into Alliance Block, and that will give them access to decentralized protocols in crypto. Because right now, there's no regulation. The reason why enterprise has not entered into crypto as big as we would think is because there's a lot of regulatory hurdles, and they just can't get
These
in
are
because
bridges
there's too
that do
many
that.
unknowns.
Yeah. That's great. We got the website pulled up. What would be the other project?
The other one is
Unizen?
Unizen,
Right.
and they're kind of, well, Unizen are, let me backtrack. Alliance Block is a protocol, and Unizen is an exchange. And it has a
Oh.
similar theme to it, which is it's connecting decentralized exchanges to centralized exchanges. So Unizen Exchange is basically a hybrid of the two.
Whoa. Wait. Say that again. Unizen connects a DeFi exchange right to a normal on ramp, cash fiat on ramp, even though they don't normally, those two things wouldn't talk together.
In a sense, so Unizen, okay, so to get a better context, you have decentralized exchanges like Uniswap. Uniswap is an exchange, a decentralized exchange built on Ethereum, and it allows users to trade Ethereum tokens on the Ethereum network in a decentralized, anonymous manner. So I can trade Ethereum ETH with Quant anonymously with no KYC. You don't have to sign up for anything. You just swap them and you're done. And then you have your centralized exchanges like Binance or Coinbase is a centralized exchange. The Coinbase board of directors own Coinbase. They make all the decisions. You have the KYC. Then you could get your fiat on ramped into crypto. So that's a centralized exchange. So Unizen is a hybrid which combines both of these aspects together. So what it does, it's kind of technical, but they found a way to like modularize different components of decentralized exchanges and centralized exchanges, and they combined it together in order in one unified platform.
Epic. And its price is in a bull run right now, going back trying to test its all-time highs. Will you zoom out? That's all time. That's the all-time chart. Okay, so it's fighting, but it's a new project. It just came out 26th of April.
Yeah, not too long ago. So
So it's a good time to get
it's
in. It's still
it's a good
undervalued.
time to get in.
It's still right fair price. Uh, yeah, the Unizen. Not to shill, but thanks for all the shill info on all these new good shill. You know what I mean? Like not like not
Yeah,
the negative thing,
these
but
these projects I would like. Quant is obviously my number one, but if you feel like it's a little too late for you, I would definitely go
Right on the
all in
back of
in these.
successful enterprises.
Yes, absolutely. Because again, the thing, well, there's just more money in enterprise than there is in retail, just in general. Like, especially with the fact that 90% of the population has no idea what crypto is, like, you're just not going to see a lot of retail money enter into the market. That's why the entire crypto market is only at what, 2 trillion, 1 trillion or something.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's just seemingly geeks, nerds, investors, silver gold bulls, conspiracy theorists, technology adopters. Just, it's not really average people, although, you're seeing more adoption now today than ever before. And that's just it. That's why we're doing this podcast here. Talk about, inform, educate. And I guess this knowledge is to hopefully bring value to everyone. I hope everyone got value out of this. And you know, if anyone has anything to say in the comments, questions about these projects that they want answered, we will be monitoring the comments and answering you back. So thank you for watching this far. Any finishing thoughts before we call it a end of a show?
Um, man, just don't be afraid to get involved because even though you feel like the prices might have ran, it's still really early. I think when the internet first came out, you know, it was out for a while. Even cell phones, like I remember, like I'm on Twitter sometimes, and people will make these comparison posts, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was some popular company or news channel or something was like, no one's gonna use cell phones. They're
Mm-hmm.
it's crap.
Shillings,
Like
yeah,
it's the
putting them
same
down.
thing that's repeating. Yeah, it's the same repetition of history.
Yeah, the cell phone
So
thing worked out. That's for sure.
it's gonna be the same thing that happens again. Right now, as we said, the whole crypto market is at 2 trillion. That means every single crypto added up, put together, is valued at 2 trillion.
Right.
Right now, Amazon by itself is worth 2 trillion or maybe more. That's just Amazon. So there's literally quadrillion, trillion, trillions of dollars waiting to get into crypto. So don't delay. There is still so much money to be made, and that's part of the greatest transfer of wealth because the average retail person is finally able to get in before the big bankers. Because what people don't another thing people don't realize is when it comes to investing, like traditional stock market and things like that, there are laws that prevent the average person like you and me to invest in these companies. They're called uh what is it called, credit accredited investor. So they limit investing opportunities to people who already have net worths of upwards of like 300, five
They're
hundred thousand.
accredited
Like you have to have.
investors, right? They're accredited investors, and they
Yeah,
have to
so you
also show a history of holding certain amounts of money for certain periods of time. And
yeah, so they've already purposely stabbed you in the leg because they only let their rich friends get involved. And then finally, years after the IPO, that's when the public can get involved. And then the accredited investors dump on you and they make millions in profit. And you're just holding underwater bags. And that's how the rich have been just circle jerking each other, for lack of better terms.
right,
Forgive me, but
right,
that's just the reality of it. So
hmm
with crypto, you have this opportunity to get in before the dirty bankers, get
right.
in before
The
you
greedy
know
ones before the
all
greed. Get
all
in.
those guys, front run them, get in now. get in the solid projects. I know there's a lot of projects out there. Uh, I got to be real with you guys. Probably
Quant
90% of the market is gonna
57.
be,
Quant's sitting at number 57 on CoinGecko right now.
yeah.
So it's
A
in
lot
top
of these other,
100. It's in the top 100.
yeah. It's
What's it
at this
been?
point.
It's been up higher, right? It's been up to like 25 or something.
The most was, I think,
Top
close to
30,
top
40.
50, 50. So we still haven't even broken the top 50. So I
Yeah,
mean,
top 50, and there's only 9,000 coins available according to most supplies, you know. So
uh,
that's good.
12 million coins or 14 million.
Right. I'm just saying, even like they don't even show you. You have to go to like five exchanges. Oh, you're saying there's. Oh no, no, no. I was saying there's only 9 million, or sorry, 9,000 cryptos that are
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's only,
available. Quant's
yeah,
in the top 50. So
right.
you got 9,000 options out there. Let's just say you're smart and you buy the top 50. You got certain things in there that are special gems that you're early. You can't, do all the fun stuff like you can with Ethereum, but you also don't blow a bunch of your holdings on gas fees doing stuff with it. You're just taking certain amounts, you're holding them. There is use case. This is
Hmm.
the Crypto Wars. Thank you for joining us. We're going to do this again. Definitely have a celebration either way. Um, and we'll, look forward to many more interviews coming up. And thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We'll talk very soon and touch base in other ways after the show, possibly. And I hope all stays well and your quant bags pump and you stay vigilant.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Bye. Thank you guys for joining us. This was an incredible interview. I hope you guys got some value out of this. Please like, please subscribe. Please join our Discord if you'd like to ask questions, interact with us. Uh, please help grow this channel. We will be bringing you so much content, entertaining, valuable content. This is Jaden Mongan. I've been your host. If you want to say something, Elliot, before we get out of here. We got the man doing the. Don't
Don't
forget
forget
to
to
subscribe
subscribe
to
to
Crypto
Crypto
Wars.
Wars. We're here.
He's in all
Let's
the
do it.
hard work, man. This guy's doing all the hard work. I just get to sit here and talk. So this is the Crypto Wars. Thank you for watching. Good night.